Skyrim is crawling with vampires. They stalk the night, infest crypts and caves, and spread their curse across the land. But for the next 50 days, I've sworn myself to the Dawnguard, a holy order dedicated to wiping them out completely.
The time of cleansing draws nigh.
Who now will save us from the coming darkness?
I've got 50 days to prepare, and if I fail, Skyrim falls to darkness. Day 1 and we make the same journey we all have made a million times before, ending the run just before we make it to Whiterun. Honestly, why did we do it? We created our character and realistically, there's only one name for this holy hunter of demons. We watched the worst barber in the shop take a little off the top, and then sided with our brother Ralof. After making it through the tutorial area, we made it out into Skyrim and got that survival shit off our screen straight away. I was never doing that again. We used Ralof to kill the wolves, before greeting Gerda and taking everything she offered us. And the main plan? Join the Dawnguard as soon as possible. So, we were going to travel all the way to the fort in the morning. Early morning on day 2, we left Riverwood to join up with the Dawnguard. And I caused a bit of carnage on the road. Run, man, you're free! We then got our first taste of legendary difficulty combat. I stumbled upon this poor soul, not so lucky Lorenz. Found a bunch of hippies just hanging out, taking a bath, just doing some sunbathing.
Nice.
Anyway, we now decided to take some time out of our journey to help this fella get back to his camp. But turns out, that wasn't a very bright idea. Who the hell are these guys? I slaughtered the bandits and sent this bastard on his way. We made it to Riften and carried on toward Fort Dawnguard at first light. I got absolutely melted on the road and this was just one of many deaths on this hell that is legendary difficulty. We then had one of the more normal interactions during my time in Skyrim.
Generous fellow traveler, but of course. This one's a favorite.
Take this and hold on to it. I'll be back for it later.
It's an end to the evil of all Sky.
We made it to Fort Dawnguard and made it to talk to the leader, Isran, and joined up with the Dawnguard. Isran then gave us a task to clear out a vampire lair, and finally, we had our first opportunity to come face to face with the vampires. This priest bloke told us he'd meet us there to help out, and honestly, we needed all the help we can get at this stage. Oh yeah, and Isran gave us the best vampire killing machine they have, a crossbow, which, spoiler, is fucking awesome. We looted the fort for some starting Dawnguard armor and weapons, and spent the night. Before starting our vampire journey, we needed to begin leveling up Buffy. So, we headed back to Riverwood, picked up Faendel as an ally, and began milking him dry for all his archery knowledge, whilst taking back every damn dime. We then made our way to Bleak Falls Barrow to pick up the Dragonstone, just to progress the main quest, and pick up a couple of levels or two. The first few bandits on the trail were the first few to bear witness of the power of the crossbow. After dealing with the bandits, we burnt this spider alive before unaliving our valve for the Golden Claw. We made our way through the dungeon, albeit with a bit of resistance. It still amazes me that I know the code to get past this door without even looking at the claw. Gosh, a bit sad really. We learned our first word of power and killed this overlord before nabbing the Dragonstone from him. We made it to Whiterun the next day and reported straight to the Jarl before giving the Dragonstone to Farengar. The Jarl then instructed us to check out the Western Watchtower to deal with the dragon sighting. So, off we went. Not before a quick fit check. We ain't stopping any vampires at this rate. We look like shit. We got to the tower, dispatched of our first dragon. We learned some more archery when we got back, and this guy's just waiting to engage in conversation. You can feel it. He's just waiting. Quick, run! We reported back to the Jarl and took our shit reward, which we had every intention of selling. We then picked up our first spell to use against the vampire filth. Pure light. It was then time to begin our enchanting. I leveled this up for a few levels and added a fire enchantment to our crossbow for further vampire damage. Day 6 and it was the time we made our way up to Higher Hrothgar. I figured we needed at least one full shout to help us out. I am at one with nature. I can't get past this damn wolf, so we sent Faendel in to be the lamb to the slaughter. Worked a treat. We whacked some perks into archery, and I just knew somehow I'd end up being a stealth archer once again. I can just never get away from it. Made it to the top and learnt our new word. Only, the Greybeards forgot to give me the power. Come on, give me the juice. They took us outside and taught us our next shout. Dawnguard then told us he needed a horn of some sort, so he sent us on a 1 of 1,000 fetch quests. There's only one way to repay him. We took a day leveling the stats and also made our way back to Whiterun. We also now had a ton of perk points. On our return, we were greeted by these two gentlemen. Luckily, the guards did all the heavy lifting for us here. We'd been informed of a vampire lair not so far from Windhelm, so we paid the man and got the carriage over to Windhelm. We made our way through the cave, but turns out we were given false information this time. No vampires could be found, and by now, the whole day was wasted. We got word from our Dawnguard brothers to confirm a location for a legit vampire lair, and as soon as we made our way inside, we knew we were in the right place. But turns out, these bastards are hard to kill. We died again, and again, and again. This is going to be a lot harder than what we first thought. We needed even more training. You know what it's time for? Training montage. Day 14 and we decided to make our way to the College of Winterhold. They had spells there which could help us out later on. So, we impressed Feralda with our skills and learned our first lesson with Tolfdir. After that, it was time for the next vampire lair to be brought down. We tracked these vampires to this cave and used our new Shine spell to show them the light. Fuck man, the spell sucks. It's time to bring out the big guns. It was all going swimmingly. That wasn't until we ran into our first master vampire. Right boys, we're coming back here later. This is an endgame kind of job. We need to add a full shout to our vampire killing arsenal. We made it to Ustengrav and made our way through the dungeon. We finally used our newest shout and finally made it to the horn. But it turns out, some old bitch named Delphine had already stolen it, so we headed back to the Sleeping Giant Inn and confronted her. She took us into Narnia where she told us the dragons are returning. Now this is all well and good, but we're here to kill vampires. And in my opinion, not enough vampires have been killed yet. So we needed to fix that. We made our way back to High Hrothgar and learned the full Fustro Dar shout. Vampires about to be yeeted. I travelled back to Riften and picked up more capable followers, shall we say. We needed fire, and Faendel simply wasn't cutting it. We cleared out a cave and levelled up Buff even more. With our new levels and new follower, we headed back to the first vampire lair to slay the vampire who first embarrassed us. Turns out we still can't do it. That must be the final boss. However, we did make some progress, and that's something. And by progress I mean we made her run away. We picked up the Lordstone to give us additional armour and also some magic resistance because I can't be arsed to deal with becoming a vampire. And it was now time to take on the vampires Isran told us about and progress our Dawnguard career. And turns out, the crossbow is also a really good sniper. This thing can do everything. Yeah, this priest was good help. We progressed through the cave, clearing out the vampire scum from their lair. Pushed these pots around and opened up the monolith. Inside, we found a vampire. Just before we were about to pull out our crossbow, she spoke. We made our way through the rest of the cave and had a 15-minute fight with this Drogo Lord only for it to end in defeat. I can't be arsed, man. Serena wanted us to take her home. So in the hopes it would lead us to even more vampires to kill, we obliged. We made it out of the cave and showed Serana what we really thought of vampires. We travelled to Dawnstar and chartered a ship to take us all the way to the castle Volkihar. On arrival, we walked into a hall filled with vampires. This is it. This was our final goal, to kill the leader of the vampires, Lord Harkon. He offered to turn us into a vampire and of course, we refused this gift. He then banished us from the castle. We made it back to Fort Dawnguard and the boys were under a vampire attack. The war had officially begun. We told Isran of Serana and the vampire threat, and we said it was worse than what we first thought. He decided we need even more recruits, so our next job was to bring in 2 more members to help us out. We spent the night at the fort and moved out in the morning. First, we picked up Gunmar. We helped him kill these bears and in return, he said he would meet us at Fort Dawnguard. Next, we spoke with Serene, who was our next recruit. We gave her a dwarven gyro, and then she agreed to meet us back at the fort. As easy as that, we've got a blacksmith. We headed back ourselves and Isran had gone crazy. Serana had rocked up at the fort, and Isran was less than pleased. Our next task was to find a moth priest to read the Elder Scroll, but first, we needed to increase our firepower. So we spoke with Serene, who gave us a number of tasks to retrieve schematics, just to increase our crossbow, and this being our best weapon, we needed this. We also picked up some new armour from Gunmar, and we're now looking more like a true Dawnguard knight. Oh yeah, we bought an armoured troll, and these guys are an absolute game changer. Meet Barry. We travelled to the bandit camp to pick up our first schematic for the crossbow. Once cleared, we reported back to Serene and got our enhanced crossbow. We got our next task from Gunmar, and it was to clear out a vampire lair. A perfect task for us. Oh yeah, and Faendal joined the Dawnguard. Crazy times. We made it to the cave and it was time to see what Barry was made of. We needed to keep our distance to avoid contracting vampirism, so Barry was perfect. Just a big, blocking machine. We're slowly making the dream team here. We are now consistently killing vampires. Our holy night was forming. We even went back to the first lair, and this time was different. These days were spent getting our smithing and enchanting up. This is a long old process but a necessary one, in order to become the ultimate Dawnguard knight. We needed upgraded weapons and armour. We picked up a new helmet from Gunmar, and finally, our look was complete. It was now time to upgrade all of this gear. We also picked up a new spell. We got on a carriage and made our way to Solitude. When we got there, we watched another fresh trim, and then picked up some new clothes with the plan of enchanting these to make our weapons even better. We also picked up some items which had the enchantments we needed. We enchanted a blacksmith apron and also some gloves along with jewellery, all to increase the amount we can improve our weapons and armour. We also picked up some potions to increase our enchantments and weapons when smithing. When heading down to the blacksmith, a stranger traveller approached us. So yeah, the blacksmith is dead. John Cena up in Whiterun. Anyway, back to it, and we enchanted our gear and improved our items as much as we could. This is what we got. With these upgrades, we headed back to the lair that once gave us issues, and this time, we came prepared. We decided it was time to complete Serene's quests and get the best possible crossbow we could. So that's exactly what we did. This consisted of us doing fetch quests for her over and over again, which even involved us going over to Solstheim to get some of these. Was it worth it? Hell yeah. Once we did all of these, we had the special bolts along with a schematic for a dwarven crossbow enhanced. So, we grabbed this and upgraded it even further, now boasting a damage of 172. Unbelievable scenes. Our next task from Gunmar was slightly different. A vampire had infiltrated the Jarl's court in Dawnstar, and we had to deal with this, giving me Wormtail vibes. We tried to take him out quietly, but he was too strong for us. And God knows what he's doing in the Jarl's bedroom here. Our last resort was to paralyze him, and go balls to the wall swinging our axe. We got back to the fort and for some reason Feindel had lost his mind. Serana was having none of it. Not sure where his clothes went, to be honest. We hunted another vampire and for some reason it was the same bloke. Could have sworn we just killed you. Anyway, a vampire is a vampire and we dealt with this issue. We were now fully kitted out and it was time to further the main quest line. We approached Dragon's Bridge, which is where the Moth Priest was supposed to be. We found a ruined caravan on the road and a note saying that the priest had been taken. So, we made our way to the cave where he was. This cave was riddled with vampires, but our new crossbow did not disappoint. We finished off the vampires and released the priest from his magic prison. We got the priest safely back to Fort Dawnguard and asked him to read the first Elder Scroll to us. We now needed to recruit the final member of the Dawnguard, a man which will give us the final piece of our loadout. It seems he was in a bit of a pickle, so we travelled to where he was being held and free him from his captors. Once we freed him, took back the Fort Dawnguard, he then gave us 2 of the best spells to take on vampires. We were now in the endgame, boys. We then had to travel with Serana to find yet another Elder Scroll, and for this, we had to make the dangerous journey back to Castle Volkihar, the home of vampires. We stuck around the castle and used a secret entrance to gain access. Once inside, we made our way through the castle before making it to this laboratory. We collected some ingredients and opened up a portal to a new realm, the realm where we could find the next Elder Scroll. Unfortunately for us, as we're not a vampire, we were not able to pass through. So, the only options would be to become a vampire, or to lose our soul. Of course we lost the soul. No way we're becoming a vampire after all this. Once we did it, we made our way through. Once in, we spoke with Serana's mum, who then told us we needed to kill 3 keepers in order to gain access. So, we set off on our hunt to find these keepers. 2 were fairly easy to kill with our brand new crossbow. And third, poor guy didn't stand a chance. We made it back and the barrier had now collapsed and we made it inside. Once there, we dealt with the Dragonguard and the scroll, which again, was no match for the power of the bow. We took the scroll and got the hell out of there. We had 1 more scroll to find, so we headed to Winterhold to speak with Librarian there. He told us a man up north knew of such a scroll, so we made our way through the snow and frost and made it to his cave. Now this bloke was insane. So, we took what he said with a pinch of salt. Anyway, he pointed us in the right direction of the scroll and we headed straight there. We arrived at the Dwarven Ruins and made the long trip through where we eventually made it to this puzzle. We fiddled around with these buttons and got ourselves the final Elder Scroll. We took it back to the priest, but this bastard went blind. Class. He told us we needed to go to a location to gather some materials to allow us to read the scrolls ourselves. So, we headed straight there. Once inside, we picked up this cleaver thing, got some bark, collected some moths. All of this because this bloke just bloody went blind. We read the Elder Scroll, and this gave us the location of Auriel's bow, a powerful weapon we desperately needed in the fight against Harkon. On our way out, we encountered resistance. Coming to our final days, the final battle draws ever closer. We made our way to the cave in which the Elder Scroll had led us. We made our way through the cave and stumbled upon this fella. He told us that in order to get the bow, we must slay his brother. As soon as he turned into a vampire, we were happy to help. We had to drain the water from 5 basins. This wasn't a quick wham bam thank you ma'am kind of quest. This took us a while. When we finally confronted the vampire brother, Serana was sick of him. This new aura spell is a game changer for real. Anyway, after dispatching of yet another blood-sucking demon, we were rewarded with Auriel's bow. We now had everything we needed for the final battle against Harkon, but the final few days were spent clearing out vampire-infested lairs across Skyrim. final day and it was time for the assault on Castle Volkihar. We spoke with Isran and he gave a final speech to the troops before heading into battle. Once done, we met them all on the beaches of Castle Volkihar and away we went. Once we had cleared out the Hall of all vampires, there was only one that remained, the leader of them all. Even with all of our armor and weapons upgrades, this fight was extremely difficult, but luckily, Auriel's bow helped us out. As soon as he went into this bubble to heal, we simply shot him and stopped his regeneration. The main issue? This guy just runs around the room like a little bitch, and when you do catch him, he just rinses your health bar. It was done. We had done it. We'll struggle from not being able to kill a single low-level vampire to clearing out high-level vampire lairs and defeating their leader, Lord Harkon. The job was done. It was time to celebrate, right?
Idiot!